What is up, guys? And welcome back to a brand new... what do I usually say after that? I can't remember. Anyway, we're here for another online digital screening of real F1 from the game. So, yeah, elephant in the room. I've been away for a little bit. Check my social media if you want to know exactly where I was. But once I got back, I was a bit under the weather. I had a bit of man flu. Still kind of have it now. Just getting over it now. This is actually the first moment of me talking properly in my YouTuber voice. And I seem to be okay for the time being. So that makes me happy. But yeah, anyway, check out the last episode if you haven't already. The Italian Grand Prix. It was an absolutely incredible episode. We now lead the championship by 7 points over Daniel Ricciardo. It is absolutely magical, the things that we are pulling out in this season of career mode. But a lot has happened in between episodes. You know, it's been nearly 2 weeks. There's been a massive game update that's happened. 50% brake bias is a thing in the game again. And we're running out of time. We are running out of time to get upgrades on the car. We are running out of time to sign a teammate for Season 2 to get facility upgrades on. But we also need to save up for the end of the season. So there's lots to think about. And we're nearing the ceiling of our upgrades on this car. We can do a brake upgrade. Now, I've seen a couple of comments here and there saying you shouldn't do the brakes because it ruins the car, apparently. I think it's the second brake upgrade from what I've read. So I think I'm going to press on with this brake disc width upgrade. In any case, that was before the last update that people were saying that. So surely now with the brake systems changed now, it won't be a problem anyway. So we're going to go for the brake upgrade. It's something we needed anyway, and there's not much else we can do. We can't do anything to add downforce. We can't take any weight off the car. There's not much we can do at this stage of the season until we get the Spec 3 upgrade. So we're kind of limited for choice. So another area we can do is fuel flow regulator, which improves the fuel efficiency of the engine. We are going to chuck that on, and that means we're going to run a lighter car, take more fuel out of the car, and be more competitive against the AI, because I think they overfuel their cars. So we'll have a weight advantage compared to those guys. The brake upgrade goes on in time for this race, and we have a team conflict. We are going to boost Rosberg's driver acclaim, even though he's probably going to be maybe taking a sidestep at the end of this season for Daniel Ricciardo. We want to have the driver acclaim to boost him up. Even if it is for the short term, it's better than the other option that was available to us. Yeah, we want to get to team acclaim level 20, and we're not too far away from that now at 18. So with a bit of pushing, we can do that. And we need all the money we can get to save up for Daniel Ricciardo, who is $13.5 million in terms of driver worth. So we've got a bit of saving up to do to be able to afford him in only 6 races time, including this one. McLaren are now the best car as well in the performance index. So a lot happening heading into the start of this episode. So yeah, it's gonna be even tougher now to get Daniel Ricciardo to leave McLaren, because now a force to be reckoned with, as if they weren't already. He is challenging us for the driver's title. So this is getting spicy, I'm not gonna lie. There's lots at stake in this season of career mode. Mercedes aren't too far behind in the driver's standings, and they're not too far behind in the performance index as well. They have just snuck ahead of Red Bull, but Red Bull have themselves been overtaken by McLaren, as you guys already know. Any other changes? Not really. We're improving, but we're still a long way off Ferrari. So we're kind of in no man's land, but we're making the most of the package that we've got. To be fair, a lot of our upgrades are performance upgrades, and it actually makes our car look better than what it actually... our car is better than what it actually is, it looks like, on the performance index. So yeah, it can be a little bit confusing, but you know, that's the way it goes. Anyway, we're heading into Russia now, and we're going to get a good feel of what this game is like after a week. And, well, I'm washed up, apparently. Anyway, track acclimatization test run underway. Let's see if we can get a purple. Oh, no, I've spinaled. Lovely. I was hoping that, you know, stepping away from the game for a week would give me some, well, help me forget some bad habits, but this is not bad driving. This is potentially the car not working. We can't brake into corners for some reason. Oh, and the tires are overheating. I wonder why. It's definitely not caused by all those spins. So, I think, bit of a theory here, that maybe the brake upgrade has ruined the car. That's looking good. Or you can't run 50% brake bias in career mode. There could be a whole different slew of theories as to why on 50% or even anything under 56% I'm spinning under brakes. Like, that's not a high-speed corner, that one there. That was a big spin. Here's the replay. Once again, heading into the middle sector. As soon as I jumped on the brakes, the car was already gone. It was sayonara. Peace out. I don't want any further part in practice. But, I did put in a couple of good times, obviously. I managed to max out all the practice programs. But in order to do so, I had to run 56% brake bias. So I've got a couple of theories, and I'll pose those to you guys as we head into qualifying. But yeah, this is concerning. Welcome to qualifying, where it's raining, and, well, with my inexperience of the game over the last week or so, coupled with the brake issue, coupled with the new update, this is going to be a recipe for absolute success. So let's rattle into those theories while I struggle here in qualifying. 1, the brake upgrade has ruined the car. 2, Codemasters didn't put the brake bias changes into career mode. 3, the updates have carried over into career mode, but maybe because I have to mod some files in my game to have a custom livery, it has undone the brake bias changes, and I can't run 50% brake bias. That's another theory. Or 4. There is no 4. 4 is, I need to get good. So let me know down in the comments which one it is. It could be a combination of a couple. But what I want to know is if you're playing career mode and you know you don't have a modded car, well, maybe just let me know. Here's a moment. That was not brake bias related. That was me trying to push really hard into turn 3 in the rain. And that was actually a pretty good save. So I'll take that. But yeah, let me know. If you are running in career mode, 50% brake bias, is it working? Is it fine? Do you have the same brake upgrade that I've got on right now?
Less than a now. The tank is empty.
And another question. Should I upgrade further with the brakes? If I double down and chuck another brake upgrade on, will it fix the car? Please let me know. That's all I need to know. And I'll figure out a way to drive around this problem. For the time being, 56% brake bias seems to be the solution. And it's working pretty well, at least in qualifying 2, where I'm pretty much on the pace. I'm ahead of Rosberg, and in the rain, it seems to be working rather well. So there's just, for me, there's so many factors that have changed. There's so many variables for me coming back to the game today that I can't pinpoint exactly what it is unless I get your feedback. But yeah, we're trucking along pretty well in Q2. We are going to get through to Q3. That's absolutely fine. Even if I didn't improve on this lap, we're going to be absolutely fine across the line. And it's P5 in Q2. Hopefully we can have more of the same in Q3. However, I think it is going to be dry at least by the end of the session. So we'll see if our pace can translate in the dry as well as it does in the wet. So here we go. We've done one run so far, and, well, we're back to Nowhereville. 2.3 seconds off the pace on the first run. But in my defense, I feel like I might have ran over a curb, which gave me some phantom floor damage then nothing came up on the MFD. This game is it's a bit weird at the moment. There's so many things that are throwing a spanner into the works at the moment. A time that I don't really need it, but all these challenges, and we're still in Q3. It's not like we've been knocked out in Q1 and we're 10 seconds off the pace or anything. We're still here and we're still fighting, and we haven't even got into the race yet. So I just want to get through this weekend cleanly, and I don't want to drop points to my championship rivals. That would be an absolute dream. Anyway, we're 7/10 up on this lap, and you can see how much better this lap is. I've got so much more downforce. I've got so much more grip. Of course, the track is phasing in better. The track didn't feel wet in the first run. It looked actually very similar to this, but it feels a whole lot better. So 8/10 up. Let's see what this can do for us. We were 2.3 seconds off the pace in our first run, so we need to be gaining another 1.3 seconds in these last two corners to get pole position. Can we find it in the last corner? No would probably be the answer. It is 9/10 across the line, and that puts us, well, still where we were, P10. But only a respectable 2/10 off our teammate Nico Rosberg. So there we go. We have all the pace in the wet, but in the dry, nothing. I guess, compared to our competitors. We do have, on paper, the slowest car of anyone in the top 10, so I guess that's to be expected. But yeah, I really wish it would have stayed a bit wet for that final part of qualifying. Alas, we will move on and see if we can get some points back. In the race, Daniel Ricciardo is the target.
Welcome along then to Sochi and the Russian Grand Prix, one of 8 cities in the world to play host to both the Olympics and a Formula One race. It's a Grand Prix that's proven difficult to crack for anyone beyond the first 2 rows of the grid in recent years, so let's see if that can change today. Anthony Davidson joins me once again in the commentary box, and it's fantastic to have you with us here today, but I'm curious, as a man with experience out on the track, how do you stop those pre-race nerves from becoming overwhelming when you're lining up on the grid?
But from the moment qualifying's over, you start to feel the adrenaline in your body build up and the buzz in your stomach as you anticipate the run down into turn 1. It's all a bit like going into battle, and the unknown situation makes you nervous. Those pre-race nerves are a good thing. The day you don't have them means that you don't care anymore. And of course, you have to make sure that all the procedures are second nature to you, so that they're not taking up too much of your capacity.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, edging out Max Verstappen, who'll start from P2. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Perez, Bottas, Carlos Sainz and Leclerc, Rosberg, Benjamin, Ricciardo and Pierre Gasly, Norris, Vettel, Yuki Tsunoda and Stroll, Russell, Giovinazzi, Daniel Ticktum and Nicholas Latifi, Mazepin, Armstrong, Ocon, they've taken a grid penalty, and Mick Schumacher. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out. Then let's see who can prevail today.
After the points finish last race, let's aim to keep the momentum going.
Well then, I said Ricciardo was the target, and what do you know? Both McLarens have a grid penalty for the start of this race. So, already they're starting behind us, and that is the dream scenario in this Russian Grand Prix. We know we're pretty good at holding up AI, but hopefully, if we're good enough, we won't need to do any holding up. We always are a little bit faster in the race. We're going to do something a little bit different as well. I anticipate that everyone's going to start on softs, or the majority of the field are going to start on softs. Unfortunately, with this racetrack, you can't really do too much strategy. Checking the race director, and that confirms basically what I was thinking. Anyway, we're going to do the opposite. We're going to finish strong on the softs, and we're going to overcut everybody, hopefully, but also hang on to the coattails of everyone ahead of us. 5 red lights, and we are underway for the Russian Grand Prix, and it's an absolutely magnificent start for Rosberg. I couldn't think of a word fast enough to get it out there before he got up into P5. Collision with Ricciardo, apparently. Don't know how that's happened, but we're side by side with him once again at turn 2. There's something that's gone flying across the screen. Really not sure what that was. It's either a bollard or someone's front wing. Regardless, VSC has been deployed, and we are ahead of Daniel Ricciardo off the start. So no damage done there. We knew it was going to be difficult to get off the line on the medium compound tyres. So to have both the McLarens still behind us isn't too bad. And Rosberg, Rozzy B's in the mix, and he's absolutely flying. He's putting the pressure on the race leaders up there now. This is a start to remember as we go around the outside of Charles Leclerc into the left-hand kink at the end of Sector 2, and we're now into P7. So good start for Marduk Motorsport. Let's see if we can kick on. It's going to be difficult for me. The mediums aren't going to phase in very well at the start of this race. Tyre wear is next to nothing, especially at this stage of career mode where, you know, a lot of teams have at least got some tyre wear upgrades on there. The softs aren't really going to die off for at least another 10 laps. So this opening stage of the race is going to be a bit tricky, and here comes Daniel Ricciardo to put pain to my race. Up the inside as we head into middle sector, and yeah, he's got the job done. He's now at P7, and we're going to see if we can at least make his day a little bit more tricky. Make him work for this position. Still side by side. Ricciardo really having to expel a bit of ERS to get the job done. It's a bit of a clunky corner there for him, but he's through for P7, and crucially, well, not me, but Ricciardo has lost DRS, slipstream, to the next group of cars. Now, our goal is to stay with Ricciardo and make his life a living hell, at least for this first half of the race. And, well, he's going to show some of his pace, but as long as we can stay with him, we can challenge him later. And stay with him, we have not. Even after one lap, Ricciardo has gapped us by a second and a half. He absolutely flew on that last lap, and so too has Charles Leclerc, who got me with a bit of ease. A little bit too much ease in that Ferrari. As we all know, Ferrari doesn't have the greatest straight line speed, and Marduk Motorsport, we've been the benchmark, up there with McLaren. But maybe this is a sign of things changing. You know, we're hitting the ceiling now of our upgrades in Facility 2. We can't do any more engine upgrades. We can't do any more drag reduction, weight reduction, nothing like that. So this is the part of the season where we're going to get left behind a little bit more. I guess a bit of a metaphor for this race, as the end game is coming and we don't have too much more left in the locker. We really got to unlock more secrets of this car. We need to get more upgrades on. We can't afford to do so because we want the Ricciardo dream. Is it time, maybe, to sack off the dream in the hopes of winning a World Drivers' title? You'll have to let me know. But either way, the things that we want in this career mode cost way too much money. Spec 3 upgrades are like 10 mil. So even if we wanted Spec 3 upgrades, it might be a little bit out of reach. Anyway, speaking of out of reach, these two, even though they're battling, we're only just about getting back within reach now at the end of lap 7, but they're really holding each other up quite a bit, to the point where they're kind of ruining each other's races. We are very much losing touch with the likes of Daniel Ricciardo, Nico Rosberg, Mercedes, Red Bulls, everyone, and they're continuing to squabble away. Norris with a lock-up and a bit of contact at turn 2, and again, this deadlock cannot be sorted out. They're still side by side as we run through the middle sector. Again, another contact bit through turn 5. And finally, we get through. The conflict has been resolved, but it's one of the Ferraris, it's Leclerc, who has decided to box after that. Maybe he's changing the front wing as a precaution. It was only light contact between the two of them, And here's the replay. Just kind of lent on the car, but I guess in Formula One, better to be safe than sorry. The driver knows best. And yeah, that's going to be a tough afternoon for Charles Leclerc now to recoup some of that lost ground. Anyway, here's a little recap of the leaders up front. Nico Rosberg still putting the pressure on both the Mercedes and the Red Bulls, and is keeping, crucially, my championship rival Daniel Ricciardo at bay. Speaking of, he's into the lane now, as is Daniel Ricciardo. Wow, yes, Daniel Ricciardo is in the pit lane. Thank you for confirming that, Ben, as is Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen. Anyway, back in Tiametmarduk land, we are trying to make a move on Lando Norris, who is finally starting to lose a bit of pace in that McLaren. Yeah, it took 12 laps, but we finally have a bit of pace in this race. So let's see if we can unlock these tyres and go for a bit of a blast for a couple laps, because we are going to be responding very quickly to these guys to put on soft compound tyres. I'm going to hope that the race leaders get caught up in a little bit of traffic. I can overcut them in some free air. I'm not obviously going to get track position, but hopefully I'm going to be a little bit closer to some of the people I'm racing. The likes of Norris, Ricciardo, maybe even one of the Ferraris, Carlos Sainz. So we'll see if that strategy works out for us, but it looks like all the leaders don't really have any traffic. So here's the pit stop, 2.4 seconds. Not too bad from the boys there. And out on the track we go. We're not going to get Sainz. We are probably not going to get Ricciardo either as we rejoin on the circuit. We are close. Close enough, though. We have jumped Lando Norris. So that is an overcut perfected quite nicely, as we can see Ricciardo and Sainz going side by side through turn 2. That's going to be a tasty little battle that emerges in just a few seconds. There's a replay as we emerge on the racetrack. That was actually a little bit naughty from us there, cutting off, I think, Nicholas Latifi in the Williams. So thankfully, he had the presence of mind to brake a little bit early and we're able to get through. This is deja vu right here, except it's the other McLaren and the other Ferrari going at it. Ricciardo goes around the outside of Carlos Sainz, and that is how it's not done. I thought he had the move done. Sainz somehow has come out of nowhere and gone back around the outside of Ricciardo. He kind of pooped the bed there and nearly wiped me out in the process. Still side by side for these two guys. I can't turn left and take the racing line because I wipe out Nicholas Latifi for nearly the second time on this lap. And Ricciardo finally gets the job done. We've only lost about 5 seconds, but well done, mate. I was half trying to sabotage your race and trying to disconnect you from winning this race, but, well, you've done it yourself now, so, well done. Well done. Oh, maybe this is double bluff here. Maybe he's trying to hold me up in an effort to not get any further up the road, which is actually not a bad play considering I'm on the softs now. Anyway, oh my goodness, that's a massive lock up into turn 2. And again, we've nearly drilled Ricciardo for the second time in nearly a lap. That is, actually, I've hit him with the front nose cone. I rewind the video. I actually hit him with the front nose cone, and now he's giving us a big squeeze up against the wall, and he's giving us a track limits warning. So that's the first or second that we've got so far. Going side by side into the middle sector now. I am going to send this guy off onto the AstroTurf now. I'm absolutely cheesed off of that. That is ridiculous. Replays. And, yeah, Ricciardo wasn't very nice, so I decided to not be very nice back, and now he can fight with his old mate, Carlos Sainz, just like he was doing in the real-life Grand Prix only yesterday. So, I'll leave you two to it, and I'm just going to run off into the distance and chase down my teammate, where hopefully Nico will play the team game. Or will he? I don't know. Do I want Nico to gift me P4, or do I want Nico to stay with the Mercedes and try and take points off of Lewis Hamilton? Well, he's a long way off Hamilton, so that's not happening. But, yeah, tricky one, because Hamilton, you mustn't forget, is also in this championship fight. You can't rule out Lewis Hamilton in any championship fight. But Mercedes at the moment don't have the car to fight at the front of the grid. This race being an exception. potentially. We'll find out how things go in the next few races. This has been a very up and down championship so far, with many twists and turns yet to unfold. But anyway, you can see this is, I'm showing you an unedited lap here, just sped up, just to show that this was a pretty good lap. But I've managed to lose about 8/10 to Norris on this lap. And the tyres, the soft compound tyres, are not in bad shape. Yeah, Norris has chucked in the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, and is absolutely flying on the mediums, which should be about a second a lap slower than my tyres. So, yeah, we're in a bit of trouble for the remainder of this Grand Prix. I think I also might have got some phantom floor damage, because I did have the MFD pop up about a minute or two ago, out of nowhere, so that might be potentially another thing to worry about in this race. But we got 6 laps to go. You can see tyre wear is not an issue. 24% on the left rear tyre. We have absolutely no tyre concerns. So it's just pace that we're lacking against these guys. We had a little bit for like a lap or two when we were overtaking Ricciardo. We built out 4 seconds thanks to Norris, Sainz and Ricciardo all squabbling. But now at the back end of this race, I think I've got some floor damage. Plus, you know, we're still struggling with the brake changes, thanks to that lovely brake upgrade from Marduk Motorsport, and now not Carlos Sainz. Lando Norris is through for P5. That is concerning, to say the least. And now for the rest of this race, I'm kind of having to tread on eggshells with the brakes because, well, they're not working properly, and the rear tyres are starting to overheat, and it's turning into a bit of a snowball effect. And here comes Carlos Sainz, trying to have a go at us down into turn 2. His defensive line screwed up Ricciardo, gave me a bit of breathing room for a lap, and now we're back under pressure again as we head on to what is going to be the last lap of the Grand Prix. Again, heading into turn 2, Carlos Sainz not really close enough. We seem to have nice acceleration, nice punch, nice drive out of the first corner, out of the last corner rather. But it's the middle sector where I'm kind of struggling. The corners, the Ferrari is very good. At least when they actually hit apexes, and Carlos Sainz has not done that on that occasion, giving me even more breathing room to get away at the crucial part of the circuit, the overtaking zone of the track. And I'd say the last opportunity that they have to overtake me for the rest of this race, we're going to do a slight lift and coast just to make sure we're clear on fuel, and we're absolutely fine. Lewis Hamilton wins the Russian Grand Prix, and I think with that, he's going to take the championship lead once again. Max Verstappen home in P2, Valtteri Bottas in P3, making it a Mercedes double podium, and their constructors' hopes looking all that more better once again. Lando absolutely flying in this Grand Prix. Us, though, P6.
That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Ferme.
Not too sure how to feel about that. Obviously, I would have liked a bit more, but the car isn't in a good position right now, so we'll take the points that we can get.
Well, today we've witnessed some great battles here in Sochi, and they've taken a fantastic win. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
Well, time management probably played quite a large role in the outcome of this one. As ever, it's not just about speed, it's all about maintaining that speed consistently over a stint, over a race distance. So being able to keep up the lap times while still being smooth on the controls and gentle on the tyres, that's really where the race was won today.
And I can see the drivers starting to approach the podium for the victory celebrations. A real team victory today. Everybody played their part. Congratulations then to Mercedes, your race winners today.
So there we go, guys. Hamilton gets the win. We lose the Drivers' Championship lead. I'm pretty certain of that with that P6. Not good enough when you're fighting for a championship. With the car that we've got, we need to be really, really punching above our weight. You know, if anything, this actually is the performance of the car. We just didn't have a standout race like we have been over the last, half a dozen races. So that's kind of where we are. Nico put in a great race today. He was flying from word go and held on to the DRS and slipstream of the race leaders, and that was pretty much it. But yeah, for us, it's a bit of a weird one heading into this race. It's almost like a regulation change mid-season, a rule change mid-season, coupled with a bad upgrade that we put onto the car. So we've got a bit of work to do to kind of diagnose what the problem is here. I know I can run 50% brake bias online because I did it in my Imola video a week ago. But career mode, we have some issues to fix. So would really appreciate your feedback, guys. Let me know, can you run 50% brake bias in your career mode car? Do you have that infamous brake upgrade applied to your career mode car? And if you do, how many do you have? Do you have just the 1, 2, 3, a million? Let me know. But yeah, this is a very, very interesting season of career mode. We are well and truly up against it, both in terms of technical issues, upgrades, competition. So it's gonna be interesting. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to see plenty more racing game content. Hopefully I wasn't too rusty in my first video back. It's good to be back. And expect to see me a little bit more often. Until the next one, I'll see you next time.